If you like this video, do consider subscribing to the channel and help me reach 1000 subs, because that's what superheroes do. No people, this is not the Injustice storyline, this is the Knightmare Scenario. They are two completely different things. Stop mixing them up. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Oni and we are gonna be addressing a very common misconception that I am seeing online regarding the Knightmare Scenario we first saw in Batman vs Superman and now in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and how many people are straight up calling it the Injustice storyline. And I want to tell you all, like I said, this is not Injustice. These are pretty different two storylines and we're gonna get into them. Now, on the surface, there are some similarities between the Injustice storyline and the Knightmare Scenario. The biggest being that Superman is a pretty evil guy, or at least he is portrayed as a pretty evil guy in both of these storylines. And in the words of Flash himself, Lois Lane is the key in both Injustice and the Knightmare Scenario. But I think that is specifically where the similarities end between these two storylines. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Injustice storyline actually comes from a couple of games by NetherRealm Studios, the makers of Mortal Kombat. Pretty awesome games with a pretty awesome story, in which we see how Joker, using the Scarecrow's fear gas, actually tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane, who is pregnant with his child at the time. And Superman just can't handle this grief and anger and sadness, and it is enough to push him over the edge, and he basically becomes a pretty bad, evil asshole kind of guy, and he becomes a tyrant with an iron grip on the entire world. He ends up overthrowing all of the governments. He takes control of the entire world, and Batman, with his own band of like small broken down heroes, constantly attempts to overthrow Superman, or at least try to bring him back to his senses. But the main thing between the Knightmare Scenario and Injustice is, in Injustice, even though Superman is a pretty evil guy, he still has all of his senses about him. In some rare cases, he actually ends up listening to reason, and like there's a beautiful scene in that story spoiler alert, there's a funeral for Green Arrow where their Black Canary is also there, and Superman, who accidentally actually killed Green Arrow, comes over there. And this is a time where Batman's group is fighting against Superman's group, and Superman is basically hunting for all of these people. But when he comes to the funeral of Green Arrow, all of these people, Batman, Black Canary, and everybody in the other team are standing right there, but Superman does nothing. He does nothing. He understands that this is a funeral. He has his senses about them, and he simply just leaves. That's not the case in the Knightmare Scenario. If we have seen everything that has been shown, Superman is out for blood, and that is simply because in the Knightmare Scenario, Superman is under the direct control of Darkseid, which you can see right here. This is almost like a script, or at least the plan that Zack Snyder had going forward for the Justice League movies. And you can see right here, it says that basically Superman is under the influence of Darkseid. Darkseid is basically controlling him somehow, which is why Superman is doing all of these amazingly bad, evil things that he is doing. I think it really makes sense for Darkseid to actually control the last Kryptonian, the most powerful being on planet Earth, instead of having to fight him or either get killed or kill him. So Darkseid's a pretty smart guy. But you see what I am trying to say? Knightmare Scenario, I don't think it is actually based on something. I think this is something that Zack Snyder has come up with himself. I could be wrong, but Knightmare Scenario is pretty different from the Injustice storyline. Injustice storyline, Superman actually has his senses about himself. He ends up making a government. He's ruling over the earth. He's doing everything that he used to do, but in a very evil manner. But while in the Knightmare scenario, Superman is actually under the control of Darkseid, who is controlling him with the anti-life equation. Now, if we ever get a new movie in the Justice League series, we might actually see how all of that stuff is actually going down, how Darkseid is controlling Superman with the anti-life equation. But right now, we have absolutely no concrete idea how that thing is happening. But this is just something that I wanted to clear for a lot of people. I have simply no idea why people are calling it the Injustice timeline. This has nothing to do with the Injustice timeline, because I'm pretty sure in the Knightmare scenario, this scenario is gonna end in some way where Batman and team actually ends up breaking Darkseid's hold over Superman, and then Superman can go berserk on Darkseid's ass, and that's gonna be epic if we ever get to see it in a movie. But that's it for this video. If you learned something, do leave a like. If you like this video, do consider subscribing to the channel and help me reach 1000 subs, because that's what superheroes do. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.